Hello, yes, my name is Scott Berry. I'm the designer and owner of Computer Audio Design, also called CAD. The company started about 13 years ago when I was living in London, so it's a British company, and we've been working now for about 3 years in the United States. We've decided to distribute our products here in the United States. So we're relatively new in the US, but we've been around for quite some time over in Europe and in the East. Yeah, so we're pretty much, I would say, digital source components and noise reduction products or grounding products. Servers, DACs, USB, cables, noise reduction grounding boxes, and high frequency filters. We are right now demonstrating pretty much our full range of products today. I'll just go through what we manufacture. I'll start from the very first product that started the business is right here, and that came out about 12 years ago, and call it the 1543 DAC. It is a resistor ladder DAC, and it has a USB input, RCA outputs. It's made out of acrylic enclosure, and it's really what the core sound of the room is this product.
Okay.
And the next product I came up, because back when this first came out, there were no servers in the market. We were all using laptops and Mac Minis. That server business didn't really exist. So one of my next products was a server. So this has been around now for probably about 8 years now, and it's been upgraded many times, but we call this the CAD audio transport.
Okay.
And this will do anything that it'll accept Roon if that's what you want. It has an SSD inside. It will stream, and it has a ripper, so that's for automatically inserting your CDs and getting copied.
Right.
The power supply is external, and it's a very large, all linear power supply. There's no switch mode used in this server.
Okay.
So that's this product.
And
here.
I assume to the left, so from what I've just seen a little bit, is your grounding stuff.
These are the ground. So these two we call the GC 1.1 ground controls. And this one, the top one, is attached to the signal ground of the server.
Okay.
And this one here is attached to the signal ground of the DAC, and it's also attached to the signal ground of the integrated amplifier that we're using.
Okay, so you can bunch up components on one grounding unit?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So the GC 1.1s have two connections on it. So that's why when we're going with the DAC, we also go to the integrated. But servers are noisy. So we generally recommend a single GC 1.1 on a server, and it works very well. But the other area we have noise coming into this room is through our mains power, and it's our mains power earth that CAD works with. We don't really do anything at all with power line filtering as far as line and neutral. But what we're doing with this larger GC 3.1 is it's attached to our mains power distribution block, but just to the earth on that, because the earth in any building is typically shared amongst all. So right now we have this show going on, and there's 80 different users all connected to the same earth. So guess what? Big surprise. The earth is incredibly noisy when we do shows. So that's why we use a bigger unit, and it's strapped directly to that to try to reduce the noise that's coming in through our main power. And then getting into all our components. So the idea is the GC, the smaller ones, attaching directly to individual components in your system. Generally, when you look at a system, say, what is the component that is creating the most amount of noise in your system? If you have any type of computer-based server, that is always the place to attach a GC 1.1. And that usually gets attached via USB. The other place to look in your system is what component is the most sensitive to high frequency noise. Okay. Phono preamplifiers and preamplifiers, especially phono preamplifiers. We sell a lot of these GC 1.1s, for analog customers that have vinyl systems. They work incredibly well for that. And then, as I was saying before, using the larger unit on your earth connections, but also chassis connections. The chassis of components are connected directly to earth.
Right.
So we also connect the GC3 to our mains power earth, and also to chassis of components within the system.
What's your thought, on the USB, quote, controversy, I'll call it? Some people say that the USB protocol is inherently noisy and not, suitable for music reproduction. Other people saying that it's just in the execution, that basically if you have a cheap computer, basically that you're gonna have bad sound. But what's your feeling?
Yeah, I've been working with USB from the very, very beginning, and I think it's the implementation of USB. My USB interface, so all DACs have a USB interface, and almost all of these use 2 oscillators, and the output of this interface is a format called I2S. And there's the most popular manufacturer right now, and most people are using, is through a company called XMOS. In my USB interface, I do not use XMOS. Using a type of technology called CPLD, which is very kind of like FPGA, but much older technology, super low power, very low speed compared to the more modern components. And the reason I do this, and I stick with it, is that it's low power, low noise. I think I'm happy for people to sit down and listen to my DAC, and I think if USB is done properly, it is exceptionally good. And I'm a big USB. I've been hand making USB cables for a decade, and yeah.
I find the same thing. I use a USB on my server, and I just find that it's really in the execution as far as
yeah.
So, and just really quick, what are you using here as associated components?
Yeah. So this show we're working with. We've got another person I know very well, Jim White from Aesthetix. This is his excellent Mimas integrated amplifier. We've used this at many shows,
okay.
And it's a wonderful musical. I mean, I think it's a bargain for what he's charging for it.
Okay.
So we're using that, and then for cables we're using it's a company out of Sweden called Bibicord,
okay.
And we're using that. And then we've got 2 sets of speakers we're using.
Interesting on the speakers.
Yeah, we're going back and forth because we want to let people hear the different options of how things sound. But these, what we're using at the moment, are out of a company out of Basel, Switzerland, and they're called Boenicke. And these are the least expensive W5s. You can see, very, very small speaker, but they have a very big sound with them. And then we're also using, and these will come back on this afternoon, the Eggleston Ozos.
Right.
And these are, again, just a fantastic speaker. I think, the value of these for price versus performance is just out of this world. I really like both of these speakers, but the Egglestons are, fantastic.
Yeah, well, the others are some of the smallest speakers I've seen at a show ever.
Yeah, so we wanted to show that, I think people come on, and people normally, you come in with fantastic speakers, and we're trying to show that it's a system. It's, it's what's driving the speakers has a lot to do with it. So the excellent amplification, but of course the front end that's actually producing the music has a lot to do with how well the speaker's going to sound. And but these are we use quality speakers at all our shows, but the people have to remember that the front end source is absolutely crucial.
Can you play a little bit for us?
Sure, you bet.
If I was you, little bluebird, I'd be long gone.